Let's see, where do I start this? I was 19 years old, washing dishes, going to college, Chico State, and it was voted #1 party school in America. That's why I chose it. And my dad brings me these cassette tapes by Zig Ziglar, and I'm listening to Zig Ziglar, learning about goal setting and becoming so positive you repel the toxic, negative people in your life. It all sounds good to me, right? So I'm washing dishes, I'm listening to Zig Ziglar and Dennis Waitley. Pretty soon I get these tapes from Broome. And this next speaker is one of the first mentors in my life that taught me about leadership, about what it takes to stand up and be counted and to do something great with your life. I've known him for probably, 37 years. We go way back. Little something about him. When he was 20, he got his pilot's license. He went on to become a professional motocross racer, rode professionally. And from there, he did amazing things with his life. He's always succeeded at every level. He's in EXP. He's killing it. Help me welcome to the stage, Mr. Clark Broome, everybody. Woo! Have fun. Thank you.
Woo! Welcome, everybody. Wow. First of all, I have to really thank Brent and James and Rob. They put this whole thing on, and I feel it's an honor and a privilege to share on this stage. It's the first time I've shared on a Brent Gove stage, and wow. It's just all the amazing speakers, sharing the stage with so many amazing people. It is absolutely awesome. For many, many years, I've had the opportunity to be around some pretty fantastic people. And I tell you what, EXP has them all. I just want to tell you that. And I'm so privileged to be here, so happy to be here. And I want to reach out to my wife over here. She just closed her second transaction. All right. Got her license before. So I have to say she is my first and second wife, and I guess my ex-girlfriend. So, and I tell you what, if you're like me, and I know I am, you're just digging this whole weekend. This is absolutely phenomenal. So really what I want to do is share a little bit about where we came from. My mom was a realtor. She was a very successful realtor, grew up in a real estate family. When I was 19 years old, I told my mom I'd never get involved in real estate, and mainly because I was into having a lot of fun, and she worked all the time. Now, she was always there for the most important things in our life, and I thought that was just exceptional, especially with the production she was doing. She was Realtor of the Year several years in a row. She was the First Lady Board President of the Placer County Association of Realtors, where we're from. And when she started real estate, my father passed away in a car accident, was hit by a drunk driver, and that was when I was 12 years old. She had just started real estate 2 years earlier, and she kicked it into gear. I have 5 brothers and sisters, so there were 6 of us, and she raised us all on that real estate income. Now, back then, it was pretty much a man's world, and she outproduced them all. And she was very tough. She had to live with all the innuendos and all that kind of stuff, but she was a tough lady. In fact, she had the very first boutique in Beverly Hills, and in her early 20s, so she was really together, an entrepreneur, just learned a lot from her. And so when I got married, had our first child, started realizing what I was doing was not going to get me where I wanted to go. And I don't think I was ever designed to work for anybody. I want to be based, compensation based on contribution. And where I was working, it was based on seniority. And I got out of that pretty quick. Went ahead and got my real estate license. My mom thought, you're not going to be at my office for obvious reasons. She was a broker of the office. So she put me up with a new startup company, and I went into that startup company, did real well, and changed a couple companies, and then opened up my own company. Got my broker's license pretty quickly after my real estate license, and we own Better Homes Realty. In fact, we own our Northern California rights. And the first day I opened up the office, one of my I actually didn't know him when. He became a best friend. Sat down and showed me a networking business. And I sat down with him, and I was working 12, 14 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week. My production was pretty decent. We had no technology back then. It was all paper, although they weren't big files. And I think the contract, the RPA, was about 3 pages long back then. But I was a hard worker, and I didn't do really well my first year. I think I made $13,000 my very first year, closed a couple transactions. But one thing I learned from my mom, and I learned from my dad too, was a strong work ethic. I just never give up. I just never give up. And I think that's probably, and I'm teachable. You know who you're looking for in this business? People who are teachable, who are honest, who are have a good work ethic, and I forget the other one. Anyway, so that's okay. It's really this first time speaking on a stage like this, and it's just it's a little intimidating, honestly, especially after hearing all the great speakers this weekend. Oh, my goodness, you guys are awesome. You guys are absolutely awesome, and I feel so privileged to be a part of this because you're so awesome. And that's what, and I learned a long time ago, it's all about proximity. I happen to surround myself, my mentor, a guy named Jim Floor, he's in his 80s now, awesome. He just really taught me a lot of things. So early on, I got into an aggressive audio listening to program. Zig Ziglar, Dennis Waitley. In fact, Dr. Dennis Waitley, we just spent some time with him a couple weeks ago. He's he's just turned 90. Unbelievable. And from day one, in fact, probably the biggest part of my story is when I went to my first major event. It was called a Free Enterprise Day. It was just amazing to me. I didn't know this stuff ever existed. And that's where I heard Dennis Waitley for the very first time. And on Sunday morning, they had a non-denominational worship service, and I came forward and accepted Christ in my life. And my life totally changed for the better. Now, I want to say, I would like to say it got easier. No, it just got better. It was a struggle because, man, I came from a pretty opposite of that. And so it was a struggle. And so I just want to give all the glory to God. I married God with my business years ago, and I believe he's blessed us. And so to God goes all the glory and credit. And for all those mistakes, it's my fault. Because I didn't listen to that small, still voice inside of me. And, when a little bit of how I got involved in it. So we did pretty well in real estate, but in my networking business, we built a pretty substantial business. I mean, it developed a lifestyle I never thought I'd live. Although I had the dreams and goals of living it, but man, I found myself, I had to pinch myself every morning. And so what I like to do is share a little bit of slides, and it's not about me at all. It's about grabbing hold of opportunity and going for it. And getting in the right people and being led by God. And so this is my beautiful wife there. She's over here. She told me don't have her stand up. So don't stand up, dear. And so the dream, the struggle, the prize, that's our story. And here's the questions I ask myself every single beginning of the year. What do I want? What am I firmly committed to? What do I want more of? What do I want less of? What are you willing to give up or postpone? See, I gave up some bad habits, which was good, but I postponed some other things because I wanted to focus the time and effort on becoming successful. And that take a dedication. It take a focus. And so I kind of gave up skiing, gave up motocross riding, and I gave up all the other sports because the business came first. Now, my real estate business came first, and secondly was my other business I was building because I was introduced to the concept of duplication. And we know it as, you're familiar with Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. We were taught that, but see, I'll get to that later. Okay, so what is your game plan? If you don't have a plan, you have a plan to fail. So you got to have a plan to succeed. Are you willing to stick to the plan and persist? This is really where the rubber meets the road. And I tell you what, when Brent started sharing with me, and the power of duplication. While I'm here, there's people all over our business within EXP who are now looking at the program and getting help. Brent's been on so many three-way calls with me. One of our coaches is Steve Hillier. He's been on so many calls with me. I mean, even like Tina Call, Pete Middle, all these people who aren't even in our business, who don't benefit from me, just like what Curtis was sharing. That's unbelievable. But I grew up in that environment too. Because there's so many people we've helped over the years who I don't benefit from at all, but we all benefit. And the beauty about EXP is we're all shareholders. See, in my other company that we're associated with, I was never a shareholder, and I owned my own business and did really well. I owned the distribution rights, but I didn't own part of the company. Here I own part of the company. And that is a huge thing. So, will you follow a proven system, marry the system, date the results? In other words, marry the process, date the results. And be aggressively patient. Now, I'm not a patient person, honestly. Ask my wife. I'm not a very patient person. But I've learned to be aggressively patient, but that lack of patience causes me to be on the edge to do what I need to do. So set your mind on possibilities, belief, and vision. This is my vision board. Actually, this is an older one. I don't share my vision board with anybody. This is an old one. And because it's personal to me, I look at it every day. It's sitting there right in front of me. And I tell you, this is the most important thing you can do is put your goals and dreams in front of you. See, here's the thing. When your goals and dreams hold a higher priority in your life than the obstacles you face, you'll overcome the obstacles and achieve your goals and dreams. It's bottom line what it says. And there's also another saying, commitment to continuity develops emotional stability. That's from Robert Schuller. And that means when you're committed to a consistent, persistent program, without fail, every person you hear from stage, every person you hear on an audio or a video, and when they're talking about what it takes to build this business and you're doing it, you know you're going to be there. It's a process. You know, when I got in my other business, they called it a 2 to 5 year plan. It's no different here. We're laying in a foundation now. We're going to stick to it until it's big. And see, when you know why and you're firmly committed to it, you'll endure anyhow. This is the beginning. Right there on my right-hand side, that is my very first real estate picture. Very first real estate picture. There's my daughter, and I'm closing a deal, okay, with her. It was all on telephones back then. And then you see some of the other pictures. There's a little bit of my motocross. I'm old school motocross. They call it vintage today. I'm a vintage motocross racer, although I ride all the new equipment. Family inspiration. There's my mom right there. She was an amazing dresser. Of course, she owned the first boutique in Beverly Hills, and she taught etiquette in private schools. She did, fashion shows. I was in a fashion show when I was a toddler. May not know that. But anyway, so this was my inspiration. This is why I did this. This is why I built what we built. And we had some early success. I mean, these are dreams realized for decades. For decades, we were in incredible lifestyle. We still live a great lifestyle. But there was something missing. And I really noticed it during the pandemic. I was sleeping in late. I was uninspired, to say the least. We had great cash flow, great income. Let me back up a little bit. Back in the early 2000s, a good buddy of mine who was very successful in my networking business, we all teamed up because he was a contractor and I had the real estate background, always kept my real estate license. We set up a development company. And we had about $57 million worth of projects. Then 2006 hit. We lost it all. And lost millions of dollars. And let me tell you something incredible about cash flow. Ongoing income. Because we had that put in place, we had ongoing income, we just lost the icing off the cake. But the cake was still good. We survived all that. And our business still built. We lost all the money in the investments and so forth, and we still are unwinding some of it. And so somebody had showed me the XP plan about 4 years ago, and just talked to me about it. 2 years ago, talked to me about it. Never showed me the model explained. And then my business partner showed me the model explained, and I got it. There's a lesson there. Never, ever not show the model explained. And you got to sit down in front of it. And I know, again, listen to your coaches and so forth, but this is what I found out from personal experience. Unless you're sitting down in front of them, sharing it with them, it doesn't work very well. And that could be on Zoom, too, because we did Zoom. We did one actually in Dubai. Thanks to Brent, hooked up with a person in Dubai. But the best is yet to come. Best is yet to come. I believe everything we've done up to this point has prepared us this moment in time. Our best years are in front of us. Absolutely. So, a little bit of financial intelligence. This is, of course, Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. This is kind of how I relate to it. Salesperson, selling time for money. Production's important. We all need to do some production, right? That's the short game. Business owner, entrepreneur is the long game. And developing an asset, legacy, building a business with a team, and using a system. See, our business is not automatically a B quadrant business. It takes a system to have a B quadrant business. It's not it's not what works, it's what duplicates. If you're the only one that can do something, you'll be the only one doing it, and you're not going to have a very big business. It's got to duplicate. That's where you have the system. Brent has done an unbelievable job, and I just thank you very much. Thank you for putting the system in place that we have today. It's absolutely incredible. So making a living. So here's the beauty that we have. You can make a living while creating a lifestyle. And that's what we're doing. We're creating a lifestyle by the effort we put in. See, to be in a big quadrant business, it isn't automatic. It takes a system, like I mentioned. And it's not what works, it's what duplicates. I like this curve. Production is selling time for money. Building a network creates ongoing income, outstrips inflation, outstrips taxes, outstrips all the negative effects on our income. And here's what I found out. You know, I was working with a team of people when we were building our networking business. When they went home, I made one more call. Not that I wanted to beat them, although I'm very competitive. I just want to get there as fast as possible. See, the measure of time to your next goal is a measure of your discipline. And I'm running out of time. I did this years ago in my networking business. Brent did this in his, drew out our what we call possibility diagram wealth chart, and this is where we're building from. So get your piece of the pie. Yeah. It's been so great to be sharing with you. And again, the best is yet to come. See, it's not the years in your life. It's a life you put in your years. Great to be with you. Thank you.